Blessings, and good middle of the night, grand risings to all of my late night people who pop up in the middle of the night. If you don't know who I am, my name is Miss Grace, and we're doing a special broadcast tonight. What I'm working on here, if you don't know, is getting myself back into the algorithm. Okay, so the best way for me to do that is to do live. This particular topic, we went over it in June, highlighting the Rodney Hinton case, Rodney Hinton and Rodney Hinton Jr. The case that involved the dad who unalived an officer by running him over after he was subjected to the horrific news of his son being unalived by the police. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing an update on that particular topic, and that's going to branch us off into other topics in the future involving mental health in the Black community. But the name of this topic, the name of this live is called Insanity. This is what they want for the Black community. I say but because um, despite the way, people look at things in our community, or we try to, I do believe that we have a serious health disparity going on mentally. And it's caused by inner factors, family factors, and outside factors. And these factors right here highlight that this is what they want for us. First and foremost, before we get into the details of the update of the Rodney Hinton case, what's going on with him, I want to send love and blessing to the Black community. I was just talking to someone close to me and saying, listen, when I was younger, I used to say to myself, man, why I gotta be so hard for us as Black people? And I used to envision myself in other nations' position. And at the end of the day, I grew to realize that being Black is not only beautiful, but it's in a roller coaster ride, but it is the best position to be in right now for soul development, because us as the Black community have went through so many horrific, non-nameable things that we're not going to name right now, that I think that we should have been far and beyond insane. This is why we have other nations that antagonize us, that use our history as a point of reflection or tell us to forget about it and all types of stuff. And when things like this happen, like what happened with Rodney Hinton, then you get an eye-opening experience. This is what they want for us. So I want to send love and blessing to the Rodney Hinton family, the Hinton family, because at the end of the day, they're living this. They lost their son, and now they lost their father mentally and physically, if it is proven that he is suffering from mental insanity. At this point, it was temporary when this happened for mental insanity. So let's just get to it. I want to give you a brief background of this, and then we're going to get to the news. So, as of now, July 2026, the most significant update on this Rodney Hinton case is that the prosecutors has officially dropped the pursuit of the death penalty. You know why? Because they can't pursue it. Okay, towards the end of this, we're going to do a flashback actually on my first broadcast where we read the court papers and I gave you my analysis of what may happen and the best result, best path that I thought that he should go based on what I saw. And at that time, I said, this looks like temporary insanity. Uh, and this is what he's going to plead, and that's what he pled. And now I guess they have mental evaluations happen with him, and things are changing. So the prosecutor is now not pursuing the death penalty. The case updates: death penalty dismissal was on January 5th. It says Hamilton County prosecutors agreed that Hinton has a qualifying serious mental illness. They diagnosed him with bipolar disorder with psychotic features, okay? Because they've been around this man, okay? And what we saw is telltale signs of psychosis. That's what I was saying. The way he was staring into air, the way he was reacting to the officers, he was going through something much deeper than the person in their average, regular state of mind, okay? So, insanity plea. It says Hinton defense, Mr. Bennett plans to change his plea to not guilty by reason of insanity. Now, I thought that he been did this at the beginning, but I guess they solidified it now. Okay. It says a formal arraignment for this plea is expected January 14th. So we have one coming up, and we're going to keep our eye on it. The new charges right now is Hinton is facing additional charges for allegedly assaulting two correctional officers at the Clermont jail in December 2025. Hopefully we could get some more information about that between now and April when his trial actually starts. So the upcoming trial is set for April 6, 2016. So now let's just get to what the news is saying so you guys can hear it from the news. And then what we're going to do is do a flashback of Lady Grace's live that I did a couple of months ago. It only got 88 views. Okay, guys? And the reason why, I told you, because I'm fighting the algorithm. Some of my videos go straight through as far as me going live. I think this is the best option for me. But as I told you guys, I was gang stalked by psychopath Democrats. And when I upload videos, they just don't get any play. So we're fighting the algorithm right now. And I think this is the best way for me to do this because I have to show my people some love because all I've been doing is talking about Trump. So let's get to this Rodney Hinton case. And just know that I'm not messy. We're real. I have the same outline that I have with my morning show, which is telling the truth, being honest, and trying not to live out of my emotions, especially when I'm dealing with things that's pertaining to the Black community, because we have to think strategically.
Case of the man accused of using his car as a weapon to kill a Hamilton County deputy, Rodney Hinton Jr. is also charged with attacking a corrections officer in the Clermont County Jail.
And today we're learning more about why the Clermont case will likely be put on hold. WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick is live with this story. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, actually, new insights today and how this might all play out in court. I talked to Clyde Bennett, that is the attorney for Rodney Hinton. He had just talked to a Clermont County judge in that case out there. Now, Clermont County is where Hinton is accused of even more trouble. Walk, walk. Sit down. Body cam is evidence in the attack on Clermont corrections officers. Sit down. But the attorney for Rodney Hinton Jr., the man charged, says it's evidence of something else.
Yes, it is. It looks like it.
In Clermont County, I think it's a further manifestation of a mental illness. Mental illness is not cured; it's treated, and if it's not properly treated, it can represent itself.
Clyde Bennett represents Hinton, but he's working to put this case on hold because of another case.
I think it's in my client's best interest to not go forward on this case before we go forward on that case.
Hinton is also charged with intentionally hitting and killing Hamilton County Deputy Larry Henderson. It was shortly after Hinton saw a body cam of his son being shot to death by Cincinnati police, who said Ryan Hinton threatened them with a gun. Hinton is charged with aggravated murder in that case, but this week, after 3 separate mental health evaluations, prosecutors concluded Hinton has a serious mental illness and under Ohio law cannot face the death penalty.
So obviously, you know, they tried. They had 3 different mental psychiatrists evaluate him. And it shows that this is the state that he's in after his son was unalived by the Cincinnati police.
Hinton's defense wants the Clermont case to wait until after the outcome of the trial involving the death of the deputy.
I don't think the Clermont County Prosecutor's Office objects. The date to try this case, I believe, is in September. The case in Cincinnati is going to go forward in April.
Okay.
So we're well within the time that the case will be tried.
As Hinton's defense contends.
Now, that to me, that doesn't look like attack. It looked like someone that just said, "Get the fuck off of me," excuse me. And I'm just being honest. That looks like a reaction. Again, these people continue to manhandle him. We're going to see in the flashback a few key elements that shows the aggression that the Clermont police have against him, rightfully in their eyes, because he took a life of another officer in their eyes. And I'm just going to be honest. It's hard to deal with those particular situations. As far as being an officer, I was not an officer, but as I told you, being a frontline worker and working in nursing, and sometimes we having people who do crazy stuff to nurses and a little bit wild, and it makes us makes another nurse apprehensive to come in. Now I have to throw this in there because this is kind of like where I kind of get foundation of my perspective and to kind of coincide with a frontline worker. So it's certain degree of thinking that we have to have and composure when we're dealing with the general public. So I had patients when I worked in the psych ward that kind of whooped tail and ass on nurses. And I could see why, because the nurses was antagonizing, doing things. And then when I came in, it was a whole nother story. Now, I didn't come in to kick tail and ass because that was my coworker and you hit them no matter what. That mentality just doesn't go. And I think that's the mentality that most officers have because that is defined as the blue line. You know what I mean? Don't cross the blue line. So I think they are antagonizing him as well. And we know that in most jail situation that it's under treatment or over treatment. We'll talk about the over treatment in later date. They're literally drugging some of them.
Body cam shows more than evidence of an attack, but also of mental health issues. I see the more headway the defense team for Hinton can make on that mental health issue here in Hamilton County, the more influence it's likely to have here in Clermont County. Reporting live, Brian Hemrick, WLWT, News 5.
Okay, so that means that he's in another jail. So this other charge is in County. I have to write that down because I've been following the case and trying to get the information. When it comes to this Cincinnati case with the cops against him, it is not in Pacer, but I did get the information about the other two cases that was filed that I gave y'all a heads up about that we talked about. If y'all don't know, y'all gonna learn about it. The habeas corpus that someone filed on his behalf, which was released the body. That was dismissed September 12th, 2025, according to Pacer. And then also, Rodney Hinton had a lawsuit against the city of Cincinnati and the cops and for them beating them. And I was watching another content creator. I didn't get too deep into it, but they said there was some proof that came out that they were beating him, that they were abusing him. But that particular case was dismissed a few days prior to the other one on 9/9/2025. So those was the physical court cases that I could get my hands on because I do think the other one is not available to the general public because it didn't start yet, but I was just looking for the filings and everything. But we're going to keep you posted. So these are the new charges as per the news. I read it to you already what the new charges are going to be, but let's listen to what they say because they can't charge him with the death penalty because you have to be mentally sound and aware of what you're doing to get such harsh penalty and charges. Hold on, they done put a commercial on for us. I don't know. I had it coming on right away. Guys, thank you for being with me in the middle of the night. Again, I'm breaking into the algorithm. So whenever guys say go live, I say, okay, let's do this. But this particular story I wanted to talk about earlier and I didn't get a chance to. So let's go.
A new charge accused of hurting another law enforcement officer.
Only on Fox 19 Now had a crew in the courtroom as Rodney Hinton Jr. was arraigned this morning, accused of assaulting a corrections officer over the weekend.
Hinton is being held at the Clermont County Jail as the death penalty case plays out in Hamilton County.
Brenda O'Donius has more.
Clyde Bennett represents Rodney Hinton Jr. in the Hamilton County case. He tells me this new allegation against his client is a separate matter that will not influence or impact their ongoing case. But Fox 19 legal analysts tell us this could help support Hinton's defense in one or both cases.
So it's more to that video, y'all.
Familiar face in
Look at
Hamilton
my
County
baby.
Court, now making an appearance in Clermont County.
Oh my God.
Versus Rodney Hinton.
The 39-year-old.
I'm sorry, y'all. Look at him. Look at him. This is what I see when I see psych patients. And this is what America has done to us. And this is what they think that we all have become. And this is not to downgrade Mr. Hinton because myself, I have made statements like, baby, you want to do something, everybody gonna fuck around and find out. Just like you said, Snapper, fuck around and find out. But that's what they want us to do. And most of us has been handling, I'm gonna call them disparities, which is murders, allegedly suicides, which wasn't the hangings. That's what I want to talk about too. But Trump been keeping me busy. We've been handling this with such discernment and grace. I want to say I love you guys. Shout out to Lady Cash. Free Rodney Hinton. I'm with you, baby. Let's do this. But we're gonna have to handle it a certain way. But look at my man. Look at my baby. This is what America have done to us. They literally just told him that his son died in less than 24 hours, show him the body cam, and him knowing, and most of us knowing as black people, that this officer is not going to get any retribution, not snapped on the hand or nothing, and most likely get honored, because this is what they do. Y'all don't peep it. After these people commit murders, they get raises, they get other positions. This is like this was a blood sacrifice. Keep it real. This is what they do. So let's finish watching. Thank you for being here with Miss Grace. We fully loaded here in the middle of the night. We're going to get this work out for our people, too. I ain't going to just complain about Trump and
A trial in
immigration.
Hamilton County for the murder of Deputy Larry Henderson is now facing a new assault charge.
The defendant, who's being housed in the Clermont County Jail, was being escorted back to his cell following what deputies would describe as disruptive behavior.
Prosecutors say on December 13th, Hinton became confrontational with the deputies. And as he entered his cell, they say he hit one of the correction officers in the face, causing minor injuries.
Two other deputies responded to intervene. Despite the presence of two other deputies, defendant still persisted striking and kicking at the original corrections officer, striking him at least two more times.
Okay, hold on, wait a minute.
Confirms the officer is a
Guys, I just got to pause it. Now, I know we saw a little bit of that video, but did you see him kicking? Did you see him being able to kick? Now, my thing, too, with that particular video, and hopefully we're going to be able to get into it on a later date, it looks like if he didn't embrace himself, turn around and say, get the off of me, he probably would have went face down into that cement, just like the cops have done prior. And remember, I don't know if y'all noticed, they did this to a Caucasian lady where they had bust her whole face open. She was drunk, acting crazy, and they just pushed her into the cell, and she literally cracked her face on the cement, y'all. I just had to bring that up. That just made me think about it. But I think that's what could have happened, because they were just roughhousing him, get in there. Like, come on, you don't really got to treat people like that. Like, where is he going? He can't get out of the jail. Now, I know we got mental things going on, but my thing is, okay, if he had a mental episode going on, why y'all didn't sit him down and send him to the infirmary, or sit him down, then send him to the infirmary, get a nurse to fully load him? I'm just keeping it real, because I kind of understand what's going on the inside of the jail too, because not only did I have an uncle who was a federal agent outside. My uncle, my brother, honestly, is doing 20 years. So I pretty much was doing most of his bid with him, learned a lot about what goes on in the jail. And they give these people drugs out of kazoo. There's so much things going on throughout the jail. Now, I'm talking about a jail in Jersey. So at the end of the day, they could have handled this different. They have enough narcotics to sedate him, calm him, and enough bodies. You got 3 or 4 people on someone with handcuffs. Make it make sense. Is this lack of training? Are you that scared, or are you that weak? I fear for my life. This is their words, like, for real, like ridiculous.
Okay, Magistrate Matthew Graber gave him a $50,000 bond after weighing the safety of law enforcement personnel.
That is a concern given the allegations here and the charges that Mr. Hinton is facing in Hamilton County.
Hinton is facing the death penalty in Hamilton County, a specification his attorney Clyde Bennett is trying to remove, claiming Hinton suffers from a mental illness that impaired his judgment when he hit Deputy Henderson with his car, killing him. A statement from Bennett regarding this latest incident read in part, quote, "The alleged assault that took place by my client, Mr. Hinton, in Clermont County has no relevance, probative value, or impact on the death penalty case in Hamilton County." But Fox 19 legal analyst Stu Matthews, who's not connected to any of the cases, says this could be used to support a defense for Hinton's mental state.
I'm sure that they will attempt to bootstrap this Clermont County event.
Sorry, it's low, y'all.
More evidence of his mental state, his ongoing deteriorated mental state. But as a practical matter, whether it makes a difference, I'm not sure.
Where Matthews says it could make a difference is in the Clermont County case.
The mental evaluations that are made in Hamilton County, I'm sure, will definitely be used as part of the Clermont County case by the defense, I would think. assuming they're
Imagine.
favorable to the defense.
Let me get to your comments real quick. Um, you said I'm gonna just kind of say partial y'all name because y'all name be so long. 5508. When will the tribes ever take responsibility for their criminal history? 50% of all violent crimes are committed. 50% of what violent crimes are committed in the state, in the city? Give us a little bit more statistics. I do agree that we have to take responsibility for the violence that we thereof create. If you have heard on other occasions, I had said I'm from Newark, and we took to the streets. We had to go get them gangbangers. We was like, get your ass in the house because those gangbangers are people out there, them kids acting up was our kids. Not to say that we bred them like that though. Let's keep this real. A lot of the upbringing, if you know about nature versus nurture, a lot of nature takes over nurture. That's why when kids get up out of our house, they're a whole nother person. Highlighting that they spend 8 to 9 hours outside of our house and don't get taught. That's why I push homeschool. So we have to look at psychologically what's going on as well within our community and our approach and the curses because we live in them. If you want to talk about us, the Hebrews, we live in them because we continue to functionate within the system of our oppressors, acting like them, taking on their personalities and all types of stuff. Now, this is we got a fish do, yeah, that's not a normal way to live, just to let you know. Going to court and going to jail and all that crap is not the way to live. Really, it's really not. But I will say, not only poverty creates crime, but the system creates crime too, because no really rehabilitation. It's a revolving door for certain repetitive behaviors. Let's just keep that real. I'm gonna keep it real. This is for us. We talking about black community. This is our. We talking about us. Okay, anybody tune in, whatever. We have to stop those repetitive behaviors. But when I got to know the system a little bit more, looking at the South Side of Chicago, and I'm like, damn, this remind me of Newark. Look, damn, it's corruption. Look at that police station. They not even investigating stuff. Some of them selling drugs, some of them hitting bodies. The politicians is covering things because they got political ties. So this is a systematic thing as well. How the drugs get in here. The same way that I thought about and I found out how the guns got in Haiti. And I just got an article, y'all, where they just indicted 2 new Haitian guys in Florida. They're trying to get more guns over to Haiti. Yeah, they like barbecue is over, but let's do that. That goes back to how the guns get in the black community and the drugs. They drop them shits in there just like they dropped them up in Haiti. So this is a systematic thing. So we do have to take responsibility, but we have to be aware of everything and not just talk about it and put the blame on it, make some shit happen. That's why I said I homeschool. I figured out that when I got to Georgia, I said, yo, they weren't teaching my kids. Oh shit. And y'all would think that if I came from Newark, that the system in Newark was worse. No, we literally have 5 colleges in Newark and very intelligent. They push intelligence, even though there's a lot of hood stuff going on. So yes, I do agree with your comment. We have to take responsibility. Jail is not a place to go or be or repetitively, but I will highlight this. Look at what we got going on with ICE. Literally just scooping people the fuck up. This is how the system always been towards us. Y'all are literally, not y'all, but they are experiencing stop and frisk on a national level where they just scooping them up. This is what they did to us. That's no life to live. A lot of people who got caught up in the stop and frisk that was going on didn't have money for bail, didn't have money for lawyers. They took pleas because they had no choice. So it's not a life to live, but we got to look at all factors. I'm gonna tell it both sides. It's us and in them. So let's see if this say something a little bit different. I'm kind of just going through different broadcasts where it say about the prosecutor and the charges. So that one was talking about the new charge that he got. So Mr. Hinton Jr., shout out to you. Love you. Please, they need to get him some medicine and get him some help. At the end of the day, he got another charge, and he'll be looking to go to court December the 13th for allegedly assaulting another police inside that jail, which looks like that they were antagonizing him. But hopefully, we can get more footage. So again, his actual trial starts April 6th, and that's the one that we want to keep our eye on, and that's the one I can't get the paperwork. But they have downgraded the charges, and we know why. So let's just listen because they were trying to charge him with everything, hit him with the book, but you can't because that's why we need to learn law out of outside of our emotion, Black community. Because when you watch part 2, because I'm gonna let this run because I'm gonna be doing my little getting my steps in, guys. I think they're like, damn, it's 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Yes, baby. After this, I'm gonna be doing our commentary, and then we're gonna do a flashback to the other video I did that only got 88 views. That's gonna break down the last 2 cases, why they dismissed the habeas corpus, and who filed that, and all that. Because we gotta know from a legal perspective, so we won't be so emotional, and we could do the right thing to fight. And I'm telling you this, I don't mind fighting in court at all. Guys, join my membership if y'all would like. I actually have 2 active cases that I'm pursuing, possibly 3 in my personal life. One is involving my son. We just got a guy arrested for fraud. And they didn't want to arrest him because, my son is Black. They're like, we can't do nothing. I had to push to get them to get this guy arrested. So that was done. So I talk from my research, from my life. I'm not the one to play with. And I want you guys to be not the one to play with. That's why I stay without my emotion. And I have another case that I'm going to be talking about in the members only as well. And I want you guys to be able to share y'all cases so we could learn how to research this shit and fight. And even if we get a lawyer to represent us, at least we're going to be guiding them. At least we're going to know what's going on. Does that make sense? That's the type of I'm on, okay? Because we have no choice in this day but to learn how to fight righteously, not just with our mouth. Let's watch this. Let's see if this video play for us.
Imagine a bustling marketplace.
Every time I give good commentary, they didn't want to give me a commercial. Give me one more second, y'all. It's about to play.
Major development today in
About
the
his
case
charges.
of the man accused of using his car as a weapon to hit and kill a Hamilton County deputy.
Yeah, prosecutors and the defense have come to an agreement now.
No,
Rodney
let's stop right
Hinton
here. No, actually, I don't have hella cases that cost me money. I'm actually a nurse. I'm very to myself. Okay, I don't play with the law, meaning that I learn the law, I abide, and I stay low because I don't want to deal with the crookedness. Because every time you get involved, they're looking to take money from you, extract shit, and fuck up your life. I know what this is about. Even when you're in the right, it's gonna take shit from you. So no, I don't have a lot of cases. Back in the day, I used to make a lot of complaints. I used to be in court a lot in Newark when it came to traffic cases. Baby, they knew me. They was like, "You're back." Yep, fighting another one, bitch. But right now, like I slowed down as far as court cases being inside of because I was a little traumatized because it's disgusting. And the judge had held me in contempt when it was ridiculous. We're not gonna talk about that. But with that goes to say, no, I don't spend a lot of money on court cases. That's not the type of person I am. My name is Miss Grace, if y'all don't know. I am a legal nursing consultant. That's my primary, and it's a whole bunch to me. So get to know me. I'm here for a reason, not a season. Let's get this work. Let's go.
should not face the death penalty if convicted. They cite mental health evaluations that show Hinton has a serious mental illness. WLWT News 5's Brian Hamrick in the courtroom today, live with the story. Hi, Brian.
Yeah, Mike. Well, under Ohio law, if you have a serious mental illness, you cannot face the death penalty. Well, today that law had prosecutors and the defense in this Hinton case on the same page.
We are
Look at
in
my
the middle
baby.
of an SMI hearing.
Rodney Hinton Jr. enters court concerned over matters of life and death.
State versus Rodney Hinton Jr.
His own.
Have they explained to you what's happening here today?
After 3 separate mental health evaluations, prosecutors and defense agree Hinton has a serious mental illness. Judge Jody Lubers will make the final decision.
If I find that, then that takes the death penalty off the table. Do you understand that, sir?
Oh, my baby.
Hinton is accused of hitting and killing Hamilton County Deputy Larry Henderson with his vehicle. Shortly after, Hinton saw a body cam of his son being shot to death by Cincinnati police, who say Ryan Hinton threatened him with a gun.
Now, this is what we're going to go back into, guys, so y'all don't forget. We're going to go back into the key, points in that shooting. That's going to be part 2 of this. We got to watch it because we're going to watch it again and analyze it because when the court case comes, hopefully they let us see the court just like they did with a few other court cases. But if not, we're going to be following, okay? Because I already know it's going to be so many holes in this story, in this court case.
County Prosecutor Connie Pillage released a statement saying Mr. Hinton deliberately killed an innocent man. Although the law prevents seeking the death penalty, my office will pursue the harshest sentence available, life without the possibility of parole. The deputy's widow was in court too.
We've talked to Lori Henson, who is the widow of the victim in this matter. We've spoken with her several times, as well as his adult children. While not totally in agreement, they understand the reasons for doing this.
As the legal system and the deputy's family navigate the consequences of the reality.
Yeah, I say poor baby. You know why? I'm gonna say this. You know why I say keep poor baby? Because I look at him like a human being, and guess what? That's Judah right there. He looked like my brother coming out. Because I told you my brother serving 20 years, and I don't think that my brother should not be locked up. I don't think that Mr. Hinton should not serve time. But do I have sympathy for what he went through? Yes, because legally, what we see here, the events led to him doing this. The events. If his son was not killed and they did not show him this less than 24 hours, which any professional or just common person with common sense would not do that, would not show the body of their someone's child to them or the unaliving them within 24 hours, like, and expect them to just be a level head. And there's some things we're going to talk about too, that they left this man alone. They didn't. They asked him, "What you want counseling?" No, and that was it. There was so many factors before this that led to him. So when I say poor baby, yes, I say poor baby. I see a lot of crazy people where I be like, poor baby, poor job. Oh my goodness. God protect them, yes. So just know that Miss Grace, I have a heart here. I'm very straight, but when you come here, I'm kind of going to activate your heart no matter where you're at, because these people are human beings, and I ask for you sometimes to take take yourself out of your shoes and put it in his shoes. Okay? Just imagine him not being black in your head right there, and then you was in that situation. You'll want someone to feel sympathy for you. Something was not right. Okay, a lot of things wasn't right. So let's see if this is a little bit different, and if I'm getting nothing that's different. Oh, this is what I want to get to. Um, they're looking to settle the lawsuit with the family, baby. Okay, God be the glory. So they dropped the death penalty. That was just another one. Check it out. I was like, yes. After talking about this ICE thing. We're going to be talking about at 8 o'clock this morning, guys. We're getting on it. ICE shot 4 people in the last 2 weeks, and they just did 2 more people. We're going to talk about that at 8 o'clock. That's why I'm doing this live now. But after hearing that and being so like, oh my God, look what's going on. When I came across this, I was like, yes, get them. Thank you. We get a point. God, thank you, because the black people being humble. Let us get some recompense. Let my man get some relief just a little bit. Look what he had been through. Look what we have been through. Look how they keep pushing us. Look how we in the middle of the Trump administration where he tried to, the first thing he went was after us. When he saw we wasn't moving, he started going after all of this stuff in his own people. You know what I'm saying? Like SNAP benefit and shit like that. DEI, which is really for y'all. Yeah. So all of this is in the back of our brain. So I gotta give love to Hinton, because that shit probably stressed him the hell out just to know that his ass was about to that he was not about to get justice. So hold on 1 second. Let me see, because this one I think they want me to subscribe. This is Cincinnati City Council to mall possible settlement for Hinton family. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Cincinnati. Let me see if this is going to come up in the. Okay. They be trying to make you sign up for it. Hold on 1 second, y'all. We almost done. Okay, there we go. There we go. This is Local 12 News. I had to find one that didn't have to make me sign up. So this is what Cincinnati Police Union claims secret settlement talks in officer involved shooting case. Here we go. So it's the union. Let's see if it say it here. It's going to talk about it. If it's going to talk about the case, or it's going to talk about it. Let me read this to y'all. Let's get to it, and then we're going to get to part 2. The Cincinnati Police Union has leveled serious allegations against the city Mayor Shell, accusing her secretly negotiating a settlement with the family of Rodney Hinton. Ooh, so they're mad at the city management's Miss Cheryl Long. Is she black? Let's see. Black girl magic made out like a bandit. I'm sorry, y'all. Shut up. I gotta just see. But I'm gonna finish read the article. Give me 1 second. Y'all can't stand it. Shut up. Okay, so basically, before I figure out how she looked, let's see. Hold up. Black, black on black on black on black on black on black on black, black on black on. She like, yo, we about to do a settlement, big baby. Black girl magic made her like a bandit. Y'all can't stand it. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having a good time right now. We need a win. We need a win. We need to stick together lawfully. Okay. So the city mayor, Cheryl Long, accused of secretly negotiating a settlement with the family of Ryan Hinton, who was killed by Cincinnati police officers last spring because that tape, they're going to lose. You're going to see my breakdown, my non-legal, because I'm a legal researcher. I'm not a lawyer, breakdown. But I know they're going to lose. The union president, Ken Cobbler, claims Long is sneaking around behind closed doors to negotiate, which he has described as a potentially case worth millions of dollars. However, Long denied these allegations. The city has not reached a settlement agreement. I am vehemently rejecting the notation that any discussions are being rushed. That means negotiations going on. They know they're going to lose. And that are being rushed are happening in secret or designed to keep information from the city council. So that means they're having some talks. Ryan Hinton was shot by police while reportedly fleeing from the stolen car with a loaded gun. The prosecutor cleared the officers involved, citing that Hamilton ignored police orders, which allegedly calls for us to die. Look at the type of environment we're in. You can be riding a boat outside in the ocean and just get blown up right now. You know, no jury, no trial, no evidence, no nothing. Let's just shoot them up. But in this particular incident on American soil, what we go through as well, that's why Black people are numb to what we're seeing. It's been happening to us for years. This young man was sleeping. They were all sleeping in the car. Okay. So it says the prosecutor cleared the officers involved, citing that Hamilton ignored police orders. Following his son's death, Ryan Hinton Jr.'s father was accused of unaliving Deputy Larry Henderson by running him down in his car. Now, I will say this because not one time in this broadcast have I gave empathy or sympathy for the officers, and I will say this. This officer did not deserve to die. He literally was a crossing guard. And I'm going to tell you this. It takes a good-hearted person to be a crossing guard and do those type of positions. So obviously he was not in the field, he was not active, and he was contributing to society. And again, I did tell you guys that my uncle was a federal agent, and I'm saying was because he did pass because of suicide, and I think that's connected to the shit that he saw. But I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna send love and blessings to that officer's family because he did not deserve it, but he was a aftermath of the system. He was an aftermath of the system. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna bridge over right now into a flashback. I'm gonna get to y'all comment. And someone said I need Jesus, but guess what? I have in my life all the time. I promise you, when you get to know me, you're gonna realize pretty much a goody goody. It's not about talking about Jesus, is about living like Jesus, like doing the things that he do. First and foremost, he didn't subscribe to the system. If you know his real story, he was fighting against the Pharisees and the Roman government. So let's say that. Also, he said, I came with a sword to divide. He's going to divide good and evil. And that's what the heck I'm doing. Speaking truth to power at the end of the day. And if you don't know what we do every Wednesday, I have to give a little broadcast. Every Wednesday, we get food out in Atlanta called the Atlanta Food Giveaway. So we're literally feeding the people and educating them. So my goal here is to have those conversations that's going to make you think and also activate your heart. You may not agree with everything I say, which is all G. It's okay, but at least I dropped the nugget to make your ass think. So with that goes to say, check this out right here, because he said we need a little bit of Jesus. We're going to get a little bit of Jesus real quick, and we're going to do a flashback to the video I actually upload with my legal analysis of what may happen, and you're going to see that I get an 8 ball. I knew this guy was going to please temporary insanity. I don't think that the death penalty was going to work. I said all of this in this video months ago, and I only got 88 views because guess what? People like me and you, they don't want us to talk because they want us to be ignorant and just listen to what the others got to say. But today, God has given me the glory. So he said we needed Jesus. Let's bring Jesus up in here. Let's go. Let's go. All right. So now we're about to get fully loaded, y'all. We're going to do a flashback real quick of the video that I did. And while y'all watching the video, I'm going to rewatch it while I'm getting my steps in. Okay? I got a challenge to my mod over there getting her steps in. I see I got my workout outfit on. So if y'all don't know, my sponsors at the bottom, I sponsor myself, Lady Lashley. It's called LASHLAYS shapewear and workout wear. Go check it out. We got a lot of stuff for men and women, and we're gonna watch this together. So let's do a flashback. Get to know Lady Grace and all that I have to offer, and enjoy riding out with me tonight. So this video gonna get more views than it got uploaded, but y'all gonna see why they trying to shut me up. Get your steps in, guys. I'm in the background working out, y'all.
After a Hamilton County deputy was hit by a vehicle and killed on Friday afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brittany Henry. Right now, that deputy has not yet been identified. The man accused of causing his death, Rodney Hinton Jr., appeared in court this morning. Our Alexis Martin has the latest on what happened in the courtroom this morning. So, Alexis, a lot of deputies were also in that courtroom. Rodney Hinton Jr. appeared in court today for his arraignment less than 24 hours after police say he intentionally murdered a Hamilton County Sheriff's deputy. The crash happened one day after Rodney's 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton, was killed by a Cincinnati police officer in East Price Hill. Today, prosecutors argued that Hinton should be held without bond in what the defense is calling an emotionally charged situation. Sheriff's deputies lined a Hamilton County courtroom today in support of the deputy who was killed while the man accused of killing him faced a judge.
I understand there's a lot of sadness and a lot of anger in this room right now. Mark,
38-year-old Rodney Hinton Jr. is accused of aggravated murder after police say he intentionally hit and killed the deputy on Friday around 1 o'clock at Martin Luther King Drive and Burnett Woods Drive. CPD says the deputy was working a detail right outside of UC's campus when Hinton hit him with his car. The crash happened one day after Rodney's 18-year-old son, Ryan Hinton, was killed in a shooting involving Cincinnati deputy who was wearing a uniform and a bright fluorescent vest.
there are no evidence of skid marks. There are no evidence that he tried to avoid him. It appeared from everybody who was on the scene that he deliberately struck that vehicle into the center.
Hamilton County Municipal Judge Tyrone Yates says the circumstances are unusual and tragic and ordered no bond for Hinton until his bond hearing on Tuesday. He's being held in the Clermont County Jail right now out of safety concerns.
Welcome to Uncensored Enlightenment Talk. You're here with your host, Grace Levi. And today we're going to be doing a case update. We're going to be updating you guys on the Rodney Hinton case and the Rodney Hinton Jr. case. There has been some major updates. Rodney Hinton Jr. case, which we know is the dad. There has been some new charges filed. We're going to review that, as well as we have been made aware of that the officer involved in the shooting of Rodney will not be charged. So I want to say thank you so much for being with us today. We're going to get right to it. All right, so one of the first things I want to get to is a clarification on the lawsuit that has been filed. So shout out to the audience member that made me aware that it was not Rodney Hinton Jr.'s baby mother. It wasn't the mother of Rodney Hinton that filed the lawsuit for the gentleman that's being charged with killing the officer. So here, I'm going to go over a Yahoo article. It talks a little bit about this. All right, let's get to it. So here in this article, it says, very strange. Woman filed lawsuit on behalf of Rodney Hinton Jr. without talking to him. So this is what she said. Now, this is what they said in this article. So I'm not totally sure because this case is not dismissed yet. And you know, if it was dismissed, they would have told us, and I have been keeping my eye on it. So let's just read this. Although a lawsuit has been filed against the Cincinnati police in the Hinton County Jail in Rodney Hinton's Jr. name, his criminal lawyer says Hinton had nothing to do with it. That's because the complaint was drafted by an Atlanta, Georgia woman who told the Inquirer she had never spoken with Hinton and that she filed the lawsuit on her own, Uncensored. Okay, the lawsuit filed May 8th in federal court in Cincinnati claims Hinton was subjected to excessive force following his arrest by Cincinnati police. He was arrested and charged in the May 2nd on the lobby of the Hamilton County Sheriff Deputy. So I'm like, okay, they saying all of this, but they still not saying that the lawsuit was actually dismissed. So I said, let me do a little bit digging. You know, we're going to have to go in and pay attention. So here is the Rodney Hinton. This is on Justia, so we can get a little update and just to see if it was dismissed. And right now, as of right now, the filing was on May 8th, and it doesn't seem like the case was dismissed. There were only 2 filings. It was actually the case, and that's about it. So it wasn't seen yet. I don't see any updates, so we're going to keep you up to date with that. But it made me think, like, okay, they're saying that this strange woman did it on her behalf, and she never met him. And we went over it. We went over the filing. So let's just look at it real quick. And that's why I was like, at the end of the document, I was like, who is this person? Is this his wife? I mean, you know, is it the mother? So this is the lawsuit. Antoinette Holloway. I was like, I thought Antoinette Holloway was his kid's mother, but it's not. So this is the alleged strange woman. And we know some of the damages that she's going for. Well, they're going for physical pain, injury, emotional distress, and humiliation, denial of liberty, ongoing trauma, financial and legal burden. Now, we went over this, so we'll put that video in the description and at the end, so you'll be able to go look at it because we went into this in detail. But it's no update as of now, so that made me say, how can somebody else file a lawsuit for someone? It's not dismissed yet. You know, they talking a lot of stuff, basically saying, like, you know, she didn't have no right, but she may have had rights. So, according to Guardian Legal Network, so I went, you know, I'm gonna have to use a second level resource here just to see what's kind of like the tone of the law out there in Cincinnati and how this may can happen. So, can you sue on behalf of someone else? So sometimes the person who is at harm is not able to file a lawsuit. But what happens then? Can you file a lawsuit on behalf of someone else? The answer depends on the person who was harmed in your relationship with them. Okay? You may be able to sue on behalf of someone else in the following situations. One, a person is mentally or physically incapacitated. And as we mentioned, you know, before he put his plea in, that he would possibly be pleading temporary insanity. And that's what they're going for. And I don't know if this is one of her foundations of actually doing this, but we got to keep in mind that it's not dismissed yet. You are the legal guardian. You have power of attorney. You are executor of their estate. You are filing a wrongful death claim. You are a parent of a minor. So let me just look at this real quick. Hold on. Because there were some papers with this and this. I was looking at the filing and I wanted to see was it a power of attorney attached to it, and it's not. So I was just trying to figure out why wasn't the case dismissed. Do you guys think that she has some legal grounds, like especially since it's not dismissed? Did the judge see it as of now? It was filed a little while ago. It was filed on May 8th. So I wonder how long do they have to actually see a case or hear a case or starts the proceedings on a case out there in Cincinnati. So that was one of the questions that I was kind of asking, like, how did she file a lawsuit on behalf of him if she wasn't in none of these positions, legal guardian, power of attorney, or none of that? So we're going to just keep our eye on that situation to see how that lawsuit goes, because no one has responded. Okay, it hasn't been a response. So moving on. This is basically, I guess they moved forward with enhancing the charges, looking at the circumstances of Rodney Hinton Jr.'s actions before he unalived the officer. Now, this is something that we knew already, so I'm not really understanding why this wasn't the foundational basis, because we have heard one of the officers or the prosecutors that talked about basically him not slowing down and continuing to drive. I think we got that clip. But here, this is just a little update. He never slowed down. New charges for Rodney Hinton, who could now face the death penalty. So this is May 8th. It says Hamilton County prosecutors the press conference that Rodney Hinton Jr. has been indicted on new charges. Last week, a yet unnamed Cincinnati police officer fatally unalived 18-year-old Rodney Hinton the morning of May 1st. The following day, Rodney's father, Rodney Hinton Jr., allegedly crashed a car into Hamilton County deputy. Okay, so Rodney Hinton Jr. was initially charged with one count of aggravated murder. Now the grand jury has indicted him on second charges of aggravated murder and additional charges of murder, plus 2 counts of felonious assault. Okay, felonious assault. So felony assault is felonious assault. According to Pillage, the aggravated murder charge both carry the possibility of the death penalty. So I don't know if they're trying to charge him with both to see which one is going to kind of go through, but they added additional charges here. Felonious assault, and I guess that's based on him like committing a felony in the car, meaning they can probably be considering the felony of him not slowing down and intentionally accelerating the car, driving the car recklessly. So during the press conference, she also provided more details about the moments that led to the Henderson alleged unaliving. Okay, so let's just watch this real quick.
The man accused of killing Deputy Henderson now faces the death penalty after a new indictment by a Hamilton County grand jury. WCPO 9 News reporter Sean Delancey has followed this case every step of the way and spoke to the prosecutor about the capital case she now leads.
Yeah, correct. These are the charges that a grand jury brought down against Rodney Hinton Jr. Aggravated murder carries the death penalty, and prosecutor Connie Pillage says her office will pursue it.
It was the defendant's specific purpose to kill a law enforcement officer.
Prosecutor Pillage says Hinton intentionally hit and killed Deputy Larry Henderson after he watched video of a Cincinnati police officer shooting and killing his son, Ryan Hinton, a day before. CPD says Ryan ran from a stolen car armed with a firearm. A police shooting leading to what appears to be an act of retribution. Do you see it that way? And can you comment on the unprecedented nature of this case?
I can only tell you that I've never seen someone hunted down and killed like this.
Previous prosecutors have taken these cases up themselves and prosecuted them personally. Is that something you plan to do? And if not, who will be prosecuting it?
I have my top 2 criminal lawyers on this, Kate Burrows and Kit Guinan.
Have they pursued capital murder cases in the past?
Yes.
As for Sheriff Charmaine McGuffey, what are your thoughts on the death penalty being applied here?
I stand with the prosecutor. I am the sheriff of Hamilton County. I have sworn to uphold the law, and the prosecutor is following the grand jury.
That said, McGuffey called for a cooling of temperatures for everyone as investigations continue.
I'm asking you to please let justice play out in all cases.
Pillage refused to talk about the police shooting death of Ryan Hinton or the case against 3 teens connected to the stolen car, where all of this began Thursday. Sean Delancey, WCPO 9 News.
All right, we're gonna start right there. This is looking really bad. I'm just gonna say this. There's some things that I want to highlight that she said. She said this was considered an act of retribution, which I agree to a certain extent, but you have to think of the mental capacity of this person when he did it, and we also considering the time frame when he watched the video and how he behaved between the time he saw the video and saw the cop. So she also used the words that he was hunted down. And I really think that that is wordplay because he was not hunted down. This particular officer, in my opinion, was not hunted down because Rodney Hinton Jr. did not know him. So he did not hunt him down. Now, if it was the officer that was involved, then I can agree with that statement that he was hunted down. But you see how they put the extra hot sauce on as far as Rodney Hinton case, I would hope his case is looked at in that capacity and the total situation surrounding around it. So he is being charged, much harshly, and most of the charges lead to the death penalty. Now, in my opinion, I am not a lawyer. I do not specialize in law in Cincinnati or anything, but I would think that if they went down on lesser charges, they'll probably have more of a chance of actually getting a guilty verdict. The reason why I say that because his mental capacity, everybody can see that one, when they showed the full body cam to the family too soon. Now I know this is maybe a social norm, but as just someone that knows a little bit about mental health, you can't just present that type of information to anyone, especially to us in the Black community that under these harsh situations like the times and us having to be on alert. So with all of these things that's going on right now, the social environment as well as his personal situation, we don't know what that man was going through. We're gonna have to keep that in consideration, and I do think that is some of the factors they're going to push forward with this temporary insanity plea. I think that he really have a case. So in my opinion, I think they should lessen the charges to maybe involuntary because they may have a stronger case. Because I don't think murder means he intentionally set out to go do this. Like he planned it, this, that, and the third. And I don't think he planned it. I think he was driving, saw a cop, and lost it. But you let me know what you think when it comes to the Rodney Hinton Jr. case and the possible charges that you think they should actually go with. Do you agree that it should be murder, capital murder? Do you think based on the situation, your knowledge of law, will that fly? And we have to keep in mind the jury, the peers, the jury, and their subjectivity to the information and also their mindset. Okay. So this is a statement from the deputy. We're going to kind of go into kind of like why they may think that they can go for murder instead of, aggravated murder or manslaughter or something like that. Let's play this real quick.
For the family of Ryan Hinton released a statement today. It says in part, prior to the crash, the family, including Ryan's father, Rodney, attended a meeting with Cincinnati police to view body camera footage of Ryan's death. The statement says Friday left after that meeting was not heard from until, quote, learning about the tragic incident involving a law enforcement officer who was working a traffic detail near the university. The statement goes on to say, quote, on behalf of Ryan Hinton's family, we offer our heartfelt condolences to the family and colleagues of the officer who was killed yesterday. This is an unimaginable tragedy for this community.
And this right here says right here that something was missing between the time that he was told about his son's death and what happened with the officer. There was no counseling. I know people can refuse counseling, but as well, there was something missing from the family. I have to say that because they should have kept their eye definitely on the parents and making sure that they were grieving properly. And that's what I think that was missing from both sides, the family and the officials. I don't know if they offered him grieving counsel or tried to have him sit and talk to a therapist for a little while or have something set up at least. But that was a major gap, and that's why I think temporary insanity, because between that time where he learned what happened and when it happened, no one was in contact with him. All right, so this is a little bit more information. The court documents detailing moments leading up to the fatal crash involving a deputy. And then we're going to move on into Rodney Hinton and the update about his son and the officers being acquitted. Okay, I want to say thank you for being here with me today. We're going to be bringing you more cases like this, keeping you updated on what's going on in the community across the United States, things that really affect us, because we have to keep our eyes on it, as well as be that branch of news that's going to be able to give different commentary, because there's not a lot of people talking about this, and when they are talking about it and being pushed through the algorithm, it's more of, you going to jail, this, that, and the third. So we want to give unbiased aspects of it, as well as intertwine the historic and the social, economical, and the pain factor that we got to deal with, looking at these stories, broadcasting these stories, hearing about these stories. Okay, let's play this real quick. This is when he was in court. In this particular video, now you see this man with a smirk on his face. He don't look like he.
I heard.
He don't look like he totally there himself after basically unaliving somebody and his son not being alive. You can see that he's not totally there, just there. And also what we witnessed, the level of intimidation that was going on in that courtroom, because we never saw a courtroom filled to that capacity with officers like that. Let's just look at that real quick. We're just gonna put that back on the screen real quick so people can remember, because that's not typical, and that's one of the grounds for their lawsuit, or the lady lawsuit, is all of these officers being made. I mean, we never look how many officers. Totally ridiculous. I mean, people can stay in solidarity, but that right there, that is allegedly being known as the foundations of intimidation in this case. Okay, so this is it. He has nothing. New information claims abuse, intimidation, alleged cop killers. So let's see what they have to say. This is just an update related to his lawsuit, Rodney Hinton Jr. See what they have to say. This is a May 22nd article. Okay. Now, it's saying new details about the federal lawsuit on behalf of Rodney Hinton Jr. emerged this Tuesday, with a woman who entered the case saying that she doesn't care what Hinton thinks about the case, and that she didn't have direct proof of any abuse or alleged in the suit. Now, I don't know about that. That is real weird. So why the case wasn't dropped? Why didn't he go in and say, no, this lady can't file a lawsuit on my behalf? It's a little weird. So that's why we got to take these articles with a grain of salt. The lawsuit alleged intimidation, physical abuse by a sheriff deputy and Cincinnati police officer. The lawsuit seeks $25 million in damage and Hinton's immediate release. Was filed by Antoinette Holloway of Atlanta. So we're going to under the next friend concept, okay, which allows someone to file on the behalf of another who cannot do it themselves, or if they feel impacted by the case themselves. Ooh, ooh. So I didn't see that. Let me see. Let's look at the next friends concept. Never heard of that day in my life, but let's see. What does the next friend concept mean? Now, this is a fine law. Let me just read it to you real quick. The next friend is not a party to the lawsuit. When involved in a legal proceeding, it is always good to have a friend or two. But when a legal document refers a person as next friend, it isn't talking about the person's social circle. Rather, the next friend is the individual appearing or appointed by the court to act on the behalf of the person lacking legal capacity, such as a child or a person who has been incapacitated due to illness or injury. And he is temporary insanity, but I don't know if he's saying incapacitated. When is the next friend used? Okay, we're kind of just looking at this real quick, guys. Y'all want me to put it on the screen? Put it on the screen, y'all. Shout out to the internet. Just be law. Let's put our resource up there. Thank you for being here with me. Hit the like button if you like what I do, how we break down the cases, make it make sense. If you're learning something new, okay, you always got to bring the resources.
Exactly. And this is what I want to say to you guys. We've been on for an hour and 5 minutes. This is a 44-minute flashback video I did a couple of months ago. I want to say thank you so much for being here with Miss Grace. Hey, highly favored. I was getting my step on, okay? Let's go. New Year's, we're getting it in, health and wellness. But I want to conclude this. So if y'all want to see the full 44 minutes, I'm going to tag it in the end. And y'all be able to, or look into my videos that's uploaded, and you'll be able to see this flashback. But I do want to say thank you so much for being here with Lady Grace. I am coming back at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking about the unaliving that ICE is doing. We have another 2 victims that has been shot by ICE, as well as another victim in December that they're not talking about. So we're going to put these victims on the screen, and also we're going to get into the nitty gritty of what ICE is doing, meaning what is their plan, how they're logistically actually really moving, how much money are they spending, how much they spent in 2025. I think we hit that. But what their budget is, oh yeah, we're about to expose everything. So I need you to come back at 8 p.m. Okay, Atlanta time. And I want to say I love you guys. And again, my broadcast is for the people who believe in the most high, the most amazing person, entity, whatever you want to say in the world. And this is him right here. Let's go. Let's go.